Hey, welcome everybody. Tony Porter, Fall Classic Baseball, 1980. This is my Oakland A's replay, my Billy Ball replay, and we are in the top of the fourth inning. This is a continuation of my Learn to Player tutorial. Fall Classic Baseball, just to introduce people to it and to remind people that it's out there. Here it's 3-0. Texas, they got off to a quick lead, a run in the first, and 2 runs on a 2-run homer by Dave Roberts, the catcher, in the top of the second, and now we're in the top of the fourth inning. It's 3-0. So Steve McCaddy is going to be facing John Ellis. Can you see that? Yes. So in this game, you're going to read the black and then the white, and the 2d6, basically kind of like an APA. You would do an APA, that would be a 35, and then you're going to throw a d20 as well. And then when you need that, you will use that. That's also for the type of out. That's a 12, and a 12 would be a pop out. And then, of course, the 5 would tell you that's a pop out. John Ellis. John Ellis has flied out to center field. And that is a 22. Usually doubles or base hits, but in this case, he has a low batting average, so it will be an out. What kind of an out? It's a 4. This is not a 50-50 game. It has a 50-50 dimension, but a 4 is a ground ball to the second baseman. Real easy to memorize that. So 1 away for Steve McCaddy. So here's the pitch to Johnny Grubb. Johnny Grubb, left-hander. He flied out to the right fielder, Tony Armas, in the second inning. Here's the pitch. And that's a 66. That's usually trouble. So a 66, as you can see, 1 to 8 is a home run. And then if not, it's a double, and what do we got here? It's going to be a drive, and that's off the top of the wall, and it bounds away from the center fielder. And he's a lefty, so the right fielder is going to pick it up and throws it in, and Johnny Grubb is in with a 1-out double. 2-bagger for John Grubb. Got a hold of that, hit it off, sent it off the top of the wall for a 1-out double here in the top of the fourth inning. And next is the lefty hitting Pat Putnam. So in certain numbers, doubles are usually can be hits, not always, as you saw there with the 22. So here's the pitch to Pat Putnam. Steve McCaddy looks back at the second base, at the runner at second, Johnny Grubb, and he sets and he deals. And that's a 45. A 45 is going to be a blank. So that sends us to the pitcher's card. And today, Steve McCaddy has got his best stuff, his A stuff. And a 45 is going to be a fly ball. And he's a lefty, so that's a fly ball to right. I do not let anybody advance on that. I make it into like a shallow pop-up to center. That's how I play it. The rules may say it's a little bit different, so you have to look into that. I feel more comfortable playing it that way, the way I play it. And here's Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts hit a 2-run home run. Now, not a really good hitter. He's a 238 hitter, but he connected for 1 in his first at bat of the game in the top of the second inning. All right, so let's do this. Dave Roberts with 2 out, 1 on. Steve McCaddy checks NEWMAN for the sign. He sets and he deals. And that is a 13. A 13 is an out, and that's bounced out to... He's a righty, so that's a bouncer to the third baseman. Gross up with it, fires to first, and in time, that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left, and we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. So Gaylord Perry is on the mound, but it's not really 50-50 because you're not always using, it goes through the batter first, and you may not even get to the pitcher. So, but they both have an effect, particularly on Ks and walks and home runs. So here's Dave Revering. Now, Dave Revering's been on a hot streak, man. He's been ripping the ball all over in every direction. He went 4 for 5 in my first game in this series. It's a 3-game set in May of 1980. He went 4 for 5, and today he's 1 for 1 already. And here is the pitch from Gaylord Perry. And I looked at Gaylord Perry's 1981 Topps card, and man, he looks like he's my grandfather, and I look old. All right, so that's going to be a 45. Gaylord Perry is a C, so he has his worst stuff today. And you roll at the beginning of the game to see which column, and it tells you right up here, 1 to 6 is an A, 7 to 14 is a B, and 15 to 20 is a C. And that's a 45. 45 is a blank with a plus. That means if he gets on base, he may be able to steal. Let's see, a 45 is going to be an out, and that's a fly ball, left field. Over is Al Oliver, and under it to make the catch. And here's Mitchell Page. Mitchell Page grounded, hit the ball right back to Gaylord Perry in the first inning. Here's a pitch, a 62, and that's going to be a blank. So we're going to Gaylord. That's a strikeout. All right, here's a pitch, and that's a 35. A 35 is a blank. That takes us to Perry, and that's a little ground ball and past the diving second baseman for a base hit for Wayne Gross. A 2-out single for Wayne Gross. And here's Tony Armas, power hitting right fielder for the Athletics. Hit 35 home runs in 1980. This is the 1980 set. You can get the PDS for $20. I believe they had a sale, buy two, get one free. So anyway, there's 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Gaylord Perry to Tony Armas, a right-hander. And see the result. It's a 41. That's usually a walk. 41 is a blank. And we go, and that's going to be a base on balls. So there's a couple of standard results, not a lot of them. 41 is one, usually a walk. And also 31 is usually a single. Not 100% of the time, but quite often. So now the tying runs, or the tying run is at the plate, and Jeff Newman. Jeff Newman hit 15 home runs, so he's got some good power. Got some pitcher against the pitcher power, and he's got his own power. So this, you would check the pitcher's home run rating. And so the pitcher has a role in, some of the home runs, not in every home run. A lot of the home runs may come right off the batter card. All right, so at second base is Gross. At first base is Armas. There's 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 4th. So the A's could tie it up here with the long ball. They're down 3-0, and let's see what happens. Oh, and that's a 24. A 24 is going to be a potential hit by pitch, a 1 and a 2, and that's an 11. So that will be an out, and we'll call that a ground ball. We'll use the 4 ground ball to second base, and that will retire the side. The shortstop for the 1980 Texas Rangers. Here's a pitch, and that is a 45. 45 is going to be a blank, and on McCaddy, that's going to be a fly ball. He's a righty, so that will be to left. 1 down. And next up is Mickey Rivers, Mick the Quick. He's 1 for 2. He doubled in the first. He batted 333 in 1980. What a season he had. Man, I bet you the Yankees really, they regretted trading him. That's a 54. Now, this is a 54 chart result. Now, I bought the extra, fast action cards. So 54 is right on the card. So ground ball to pitcher who knocks it down, picks it up, fires to first. Unless roll E rating for wild throw, batter to second. So I'm going to use that 7 because I have not used it. So that's going to be my E roll. Now McCaddy has his E rating, which is a 4. So he makes a high throw, but a nice stretch by the first baseman, and there's no error on that play. So a little bouncer right back to McCaddy, and McCaddy rushes it because he knows that Rivers has good speed, has great speed. And they call him Mick the Quick, but he gets it there just in time to retire Rivers. So there's 2 outs, and here's Bump Wills. Bump Wills, switch hitter, batting from the left side against a righty McCaddy. He's grounded out and lined out. And that's a 35. A 35 is a blank, and a 35 is going to be an out. A 12 is popped up to the third baseman, Wayne Gross, and that retires the side. It's going to be Mario Guerrero, Rob Piccolo, and Ricky Henderson. And we're in the bottom of the 5th, 3-0 Rangers. And that's a 36, so a 36 for Guerrero is a blank. And we go to Perry, and that's an out. And a 16 is a ground ball to short. Played by Frias, and he throws to get Guerrero. Here's Rob Piccolo. He steps in the box. He's a right-handed hitter. And that's going to be 16, and a 16 is strike 3. And he swings and misses at a Gaylord Perry curveball. 2 outs. Ricky Henderson, who's 0 for 2. Here's a pitch to Ricky. That's a 44. That's line base hit, and this will give Ricky a chance to steal. We're going to check the catcher's arm rating. There's you can print out a chart when you print out your teams. And the catcher right here, it's Dave Roberts, and he has a average arm, so there will be no negative modifier. Now, we already rolled the D20, and I'm going to go with that roll. I don't re-roll it, so I'm going to go with that roll, the 15, because we haven't used it. He gets a chance to steal. I steal automatically. And a 15 for him, for his stolen base rating, it's a 16, and there's no negative modifier, so that 15 will be a throw down from Roberts, and he is safe under the tag. So a nice slide by Ricky Henderson. He singles and then steals second base. So the A's have a runner in scoring position. Maybe they can chip back into this game slowly, claw their way back, run one run at a time. We're in the bottom of the 5th. They're down 3-0. And here's Dwayne Murphy. Dwayne Murphy struck out and bounced out to the, well, right in front of the plate, and the catcher picked it up. And here goes. Pitch from Perry. And that is a 31. That's going to be line base hit center field, and that most surely will score the speedy Henderson. We look down here, runner on second, F for a score with 2 outs, all score. And around comes Henderson. That's the first run of the game. For the Athletics. So Dwayne Murphy lines one to center and drives in Ricky Henderson here with 2 out in the bottom of the 5th inning, and the score is now 3-1 Rangers. Up next is Dave Revering. He's 1 for 2 today. Gaylord Perry looks into Roberts for the sign. He sets and deals. And that is a 1-6, and that's an out. A 19 is popped up right side. And racing in is the right fielder, Grubb, and he gets there to retire the side. But the A's are on the board with 1 run on 2 hits. And we go to the top of Steve McCatty versus Al Oliver. Al Oliver is 0 for 1. He flied out to, actually, he reached on an error by the center fielder, and then he walked. So he's been on base twice. We want to keep the Rangers from scoring any more runs. We're behind by 2. And here's a pitch. That is a 32. A 32 is a blank, and a 32 is an out. It's a bouncer. 16 is going to be a bouncer to second base. Second baseman Piccolo over and throws out Oliver for out number 1. Next up is Buddy Bell. Buddy Bell's 0 for 2. He was picked off. Here's a pitch and a 41. That should be a base on balls, and it is. So Bell walks. He's on at first. Some action in the bullpen. Steve McCatty can go 33 batters faced right here. So he still has a ways to go. He's only faced 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So he has a ways to go. So John Ellis, there's some movement. Nobody's up yet, but there is some movement. Some people are stretching. And that's a 35. A 35 is a blank, and a 35 is an out. Now that's a 2. A 2 with a runner on first is a fly ball to center field. And that is out number 2. Easy pickings for Dwayne Murphy in center. Dwayne Murphy becomes the captain for the 1980 Athletics, the Billy Ball Athletics. Here's Johnny Grubb. Johnny Grubb has flied out and doubled. So McCatty checks in for the sign. Bell takes his lead off first. Here's a pitch. And that is a 45. A 45 is a blank, and a 45 is a fly ball. He's a lefty. That will be to right. And that retires his side. So no runs. 1 left, the walk. And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Gaylord Perry will be facing Page, Gross, and Armas. The power players in the Oakland A's lineup. All right, so left-hand hitting Mitchell Page, who is 0 for 2 today. Here's a pitch from Perry, and that is a 52. Now, this is a KD check, and that 2 says it's probably going to be a strikeout. And we're going to check. It's a 1 and 2 is a strikeout, so there's no error check there. He strikes out Mitchell Page. That's called a KD check. So the first thing you do on 51, 52, or 53 is check the D20. If it's a low number, and on every pitcher and every column will be a little bit different, so you have to check. That 2 falls within the 1-2 KD range, and that's a strikeout, an automatic defensive strikeout. And here comes Wayne Gross. Wayne Gross today is 1 for 2. And that is a 55. That should be a drive for sure. And that's going to be one hop off the wall. Gross digging for second. The throw, and he is safe. Slides into second base with a 1-out double. Wayne Gross with his second hit of the game. So the A's have a runner in scoring position again. And here's Tony Armas. Now, Gaylord Perry, I started checking. This can go 31 batters. He's gone 27 and 5, 18 and 5 is 23. So Tony Armas steps in the box. He is 0 for 1 today. He walked and bounced back to the pitcher. Got good power. Let's see if we can get a 66 here, or even a 65 will do. Will help. Will give us a good chance. Oh, and that's a 53. That's another KD opportunity. This is usually a range, but that 15 says it won't be a KD. So we're going to re-roll because we already used that number. We're going to re-roll. And it's going to, we're going to look and see who it's to. So the 53 left field. So it's a range play to left field. It could end up being a single. Let's see what happens. The left fielder, who's out there in left field? It's Al Oliver, and Al Oliver's rating is a range of an 8. So 8 or less, and he makes the catch. Anything above that will be drops in for a single, and it does drop in. So it's a base. That one single star. That was a 53 I rolled, has a single star, so he stops at third. Problem solved. All right, so that's going to be Jeff Newman up. He hit a triple in the second inning. He's 1 for 2. And Gaylord Perry is got himself against the ropes, as they say. All right, let's see what happens. 3-1 Rangers here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pitch to Newman. Infield is halfway looking for that double play. We're willing to concede a run here. And that is a 54. That's going to be a 54 chart. Runners on base. So again, you pull a card. Men on base, 54 chart is going to say wild pitch or pass ball. I'm going to look at that 3. That 3 may be a pass ball. Runner's going to score here. It's definitely going to be a wild pitch because his wild pitch rating is a 9. But if it's within the 3 of the catcher's pass ball rating, it's a pass ball first. And the pass ball rating for Dave Roberts is a 9. Ouch. So that ball is going to be charged as a pass ball to the catcher, and that will allow run number 2 to score. And it's 3-2 now with only 1 out and the tying run at second base. Jeff Newman gets another chance. Going to swing away. And here's the pitch. And that is a 35. And a 35 is a blank. A 35 is line. Base hit left field. And let's see what happens. Well, it doesn't say left field. I'm going to pull a card. It's going to tell us where it went. It is left field. And with a runner at second base, scores if the left fielder has a W or average arm, or if there's 2 outs. There's not 2 outs, so a W or an average arm. And let's look. In left field was Al Oliver. I believe he had an average arm. It says it right there, A, average arm. So he will score. The game is tied. So Jeff Newman lines a single to left field, scores Armas. So that pass ball really hurt the Rangers, and Newman is at first base with an RBI single. Excuse me. I got a quick sip of Bai coconut. All right, game's tied at 3. Here's Mario Guerrero with Newman at first. Now we could pin. It is the bottom of the 6th. I could pinch run for Newman, but I'm not going to do that. Too early. If it was the 8th inning or 7th or, and above, I would probably do that. Not going to do that. Still too early. It's a 61. 61's a blank. 61's a K. 2 outs. So he strikes out. And Perry has a bunch of strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts for Perry. Gaylord Perry. All right. And here's Rob Picholo. Pitch from Perry. That's a 45. 45 is an out. It's a fly to center. And Rivers is there, and that retires the side. But the A's tie it up with 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning on 1, 2, 3 hits and a big pass ball. And it's all tied 3-3. We go to the top of the 7th. And that's it for this quick tutorial stream. And I will continue doing it in smaller segments. This already went half an hour. I don't want, and that's, you know, that's plenty of time to do this in. And I rather, you know, you just be introduced to a little bit of the game and get a sense of the flow of the game. So it's 3-3. We go to the top of the 7th. It's going to be McCaddy facing let's quickly look at where we're leaving off so we get a mental picture of this. It's going to be McCaddy facing Pat Putnam, Dave Roberts, and Pepe Frias in the top of the 7th inning. All tied at 3. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Like and subscribe. Thank you.